Hey, amazing people. It's Tracy Lene. We started the book, The Law of Divine Compensation. I had a lot of things to get done today, and one of them was to make sure I went out and did my walk. You know, walking is my religion. So today I only did 20 minutes because I knew I needed to get to this, and I have to do some other things with school. But this is very important to me. You are very important to me. Like, share, subscribe. Let's get into this book. If you're new to my channel, what I do is I pick books and then I read them chapter by chapter, adding my commentary. So this isn't audible where they just read the book and that's it. I'm going to stop and add what I feel to add. This book is by Marianne Williamson, the author of Return to Love. It's called The Divine Law of Compensation on Work, Money, and Miracles. And let's get into chapter 2, The Power of Faith. Years ago, early in my career as a speaker, I had what I thought was a great idea for an evening of spirituality and musical entertainment. It actually was a great idea, but I had another idea that wasn't so great. That instead of telling people how great the evening was going to be, I'd surprise them with it once they got there. Marketing genius, I know. So of course, not that many people came. After all, I promoted it as if you had to just trust me that it would be worth your while. I had rented a huge, beautiful theater. We had fabulous musicians. The evening was really first class and wonderful. Among those who were there, a common comment was, wow, if I'd have known how great this evening was going to be, I would have brought 10 friends, if only. Faith is not just a theological principle. It is a mental and emotional muscle. My parents had flown from Houston to Los Angeles for the occasion, and at the end of the show, they came backstage to congratulate me. As my father put his arms around me, I burst into tears. "Oh, Daddy," I sobbed. "It was such a bomb." "What are you talking about?" he exclaimed. "It was wonderful." "Yeah, but not enough people were here," I complained. "Daddy, I lost $10,000. "All hell, little sister," he said to me. "First of all, I'm proud of you that you made $10,000 you could lose. And I'm proud of you that you risked it on something so great. If anybody gives you trouble about this, you just tell them you can absorb the loss." The next day and for several days thereafter, a girlfriend of mine who was one of the singers in the show kept fretting about my financial loss. But instead of joining in with her dismissal, albeit compassionate outlook, I took my father's advice and kept saying, "Tony, I can absorb the loss." I said it so often I began to convince myself. And in time, I think I convinced her too. I didn't have control at that point over what had happened in the past. But I had control over how I dealt with it now. Let me read that again. I didn't have control at that point over what had happened in the past. But I had control over how I dealt with it now. I had made a mistake, yes. But the universe wouldn't hold me to it. I'm going to say that again. I had made a mistake, yes, but the universe wouldn't hold me to it. The path toward or away from financial recovery lay in how I chose to think about what had happened, as proof of utter failure and doom, or as an opportunity to forgive myself and attract a miracle. One of the things I see in people is they make a mistake, and instead of walking away from the mistake, they walk further into it, as if going further into the mistake is going to somehow make it not a mistake. That happens a lot in relationships where one person goes out and has an affair and then their partner finds out and they're all sorry, but they don't stop the affair. They keep going into the affair. And people say, well, they weren't sorry. I don't think they know how to back out of it because I think it takes a very broken person to walk through that door. So if you're broken and you walk through a door, sometimes trying to get back out, you need to have somebody, and especially at the time when you're at your lowest, to guide you out. That doesn't mean it has to be the person that they did all of the fuckery to. Maybe you'll get an angel come appear in the night, or one of your friends will help you. It doesn't have to be the person that they wronged. Actually, they didn't even wrong you. They wronged themselves. That's another day, though. What I needed more than anything right then was faith. Faith that I could go forward and ultimately recoup my losses. Faith is not just a theological principle. It is a mental and emotional muscle. It is an aspect of consciousness, a function of the mind. With every attitude, we demonstrate faith, either faith in what we can Either faith in what can go wrong or faith in what can go right. Our problem is that we tend to have tremendous faith in the power of our disasters and far too little faith in the power of miracles. Our faith itself is a potent force. We increase things' power by increasing our belief in its power. Like any muscle, faith grows strong when used and weak when unused. When faith in love and its miraculous authority becomes a thought form that guides our thinking, it turns into an extraordinary power that transforms our lives. It is not enough that spiritual power exists. We must have faith that it exists in order to use it on our behalf. Faith affects our psychological and emotional state, which greatly influences how we experience what is happening. When you're sitting in front of a pile of bills you don't know how you'll pay, or are being hounded by creditors, or are afraid you'll lose your home, when you're confronted by images of economic gloom and doom, recession and hardship every day, it's easy to fear that your financial state will only get worse. It seems easier to have faith in the power of economic loss than to have faith in the possibility of economic recovery. To get a little personal, right in the beginning of 2020, we were facing foreclosure on our house. My husband's business had tanked. The contracts weren't coming in like they were. Yoga wasn't as booming as it could be. My business, my side hustle, as I was calling it at the time, wasn't growing as much. Making things wasn't earning me as much money. But something told me to hold on, to keep the faith, to know that things were going to change. And I don't make my blessings off of COVID, but God does what God does. And COVID stopped the foreclosure process. And the monies that came in from me not working, but being able to get the economic stimulus package, I was able to not only catch up. We decided when we wanted to let that house go, not had it taken away from us. We decided it's time to go ahead and go. But that was 3 years later. But it was the faith that I had. I knew that God had more for me. And that, yeah, I owe money to people, but I'm not a bad person. I'm not running around here racking up debt and then just running away from it. Circumstances and situations are happening that are making it that way. But I had faith in that economic recovery, and I'm living in it now. But faith isn't blind. It's visionary. Having faith in a positive outcome doesn't mean you're denying a problem or ignoring obstacles. It simply means you're affirming a solution. You don't stick your head in the sand and act like things aren't happening, but you affirm that, yes, these things are happening, but I can't control it, so I'm going to have faith that a higher power is going to do it. Life is not supposed to be hard. I did a TikTok on this earlier. Life is not supposed to be hard. Life is not a struggle. People tell us that, oh, you got to struggle. No, you don't. You're choosing to struggle because you don't have faith. Just the faith of a mustard seed would take that struggle away. Just you understanding that you are here for a purpose and it is divine and things are going to happen that you don't like, but it's definitely going to change. You've got to do the changing. But faith isn't blind, it's visionary. Having faith in a positive outcome doesn't mean you're denying a problem or ignoring obstacles. It simply means you're affirming a solution. If you believe that economic disaster is the bedrock of reality of your existence because your physical senses and mortal circumstances practically scream that it's so, then that belief is a powerful force. Your belief is literally being used against you. But if you see your current economic hardship as what it really is, a temporary deviation from love's perfection, happening within the mortal realm, but in ultimate reality, not happening at all, because only love is real. I'm going to read that again. But if you see your current economic hardship as what it really is, a temporary deviation from love's perfection, happening within the mortal realm, but in the ultimate reality, not happening at all, because only love is real, then your vision works a miracle. It frees your energy, thoughts, and emotions, opening your mind to new possibilities. For that is what a miracle is, a shift in thinking, which then shifts your experiences. This shift in perception, your willingness to look beyond appearances, enables you to invoke a different set of probabilities going forward. It enables you to see beyond what is happening to what could be happening, thus creating the space for something new. I wanted to stop for a second and thank the 77 viewers I have. And instead of saying I just have, I'm saying I have. And the reason why I'm looking at it like that, because it would be what's the word I'm looking for? Not grateful. It would be ungrateful of me to act like I need 1 million subscribers. Why? Maybe the people I need to touch are the 77, or maybe the 7 that actually listen to my videos. Those are the people I need to touch. My daughter, as we were doing this, a message just came up. My youngest daughter just said, "Mommy, I'm so proud of you that you're sticking to what you said you were going to do and making a video every day." That right there touched my heart, because then what that means is she's watching her mother keep her word, and she will learn, because children learn from us. They do as we do, not as we say. And you know that. Faith is power. It changes your life by changing you. It places you on a different ground of being with yourself. It gives you a confidence based on something that's in you but not of you, that can do for you what you can't do for yourself. It keeps you from sinking into victim consciousness, a stance that attracts more victimization, and lifts you to positivity, which attracts more positive outcomes. Where we put our faith literally and directly influences what happens next. I remember Bill Cosby saying that when he didn't have any money, he couldn't get anybody to give him a scooter. But when he became a millionaire, they were giving him Rolls Royces, saying, "Here, you just drive it," without paying for it. Money begets more money. Poverty begets more poverty. And it's because it's the thinking. When you think I'm in survival mode, you stay in survival mode, because all we ever have is now, the moment we're in. So if you say right now I'm in survival mode, then you're always in survival mode, because you're always in right now. If you say right now I have money, and you don't physically see it, well, money will wait. Jesus said we got money. Oh shit, we got to get over there. And money will come. Money is the means to have access to a better quality of physical life. But the spiritual life doesn't need any money for it. So if you want to, you have to start with that spiritual. You got to seek the kingdom first. Get that spiritual stuff together. That money will flow in. And the money that doesn't flow in, because you have a spiritual base, you won't miss it. If it ain't yours, you don't want it. Trust me. The Bible's adage, "Blessed are those who have faith and cannot see," means empowered are those who remember who they are, even when circumstances would tempt them to believe otherwise. It doesn't matter if you don't have any money. It doesn't mean you're not a god or a goddess. It just means that right now you're having a temporary lapse in who you really are, and it's showing up on the physical realm. Get it together and it'll come. There's not one person on this planet that doesn't have talent enough to earn them $1 billion, period. Don't say, well, nah, because, they monopolize the money. Who is the they that we always talking about? Who is the they? Won't you become part of the they? And then don't monopolize it once you become part of the they. Share. And when I say share, I don't mean that because you have money, you have to give to people who don't have it, because they have the opportunity to do what you're doing. But it's nice to help people, lift them up on their feet, but you can't walk for them. It is easy enough to have faith in God's infinite abundance when you have millions of dollars sitting in your bank account. But what's important to remember is that everything seen begins in a place that was first unseen. When a pilot cannot see the horizon because of low visibility, he or she doesn't assume that the horizon has disappeared. At a time of low visibility, the pilot flies on instruments that can actually gauge a situation more clearly than he can. Faith is like flying on instruments. It's acting on the assumption that just because you can't see a possibility at the moment doesn't mean it's not there. And that's why it's important that your circle is women who uplift you, or men who uplift you. People who really are your rah-rah, your cheerleaders, because when you're down, they can help lift you up. They can't walk for you, but if you're down and somebody that loves you lifts you up, you'll learn to use your feet. That's why the mate you choose has to be your cheerleader, whether it's your husband or your wife, your partner. It has to be your cheerleader, or else you're going to eventually tire of having to lift yourself up, even in times when you need a little help, because you do need help sometimes, and it's okay. And faith is not just knowing that love is always there. Faith is also knowing that which is not love is not really there. Yes, of course it is there within our three-dimensional mortal reality. The bills, the foreclosure, the pink slip, the recession. But that reality is not ultimate reality. Your power to invoke ultimate truth lies in your clarity about what is truth and what is illusion. With every thought we think, we display either faith in love or faith in fear. Faith in love. I lack a job as the world defines it, but my divine function is established by God. I'm going to say that again. I lack a job as the world defines it, but my divine function is established by God. I am here to love and to be loved, and that is what establishes my worth. No worldly rejection establishes my value in the universe, and no material lack diminishes my fullness in God. I atone for my errors and forgive others for theirs. I place the situation of apparent lack in His hands and rest in the absolute faith that it is miraculously changing even as I speak this word. I'm going to read that again. This is faith and love. I lack a job as the world defines it, but my divine function is established by God. I am here to love and to be loved, and that is what establishes my worth. No worldly rejection establishes my value in the universe, and no material lack diminishes my fullness in God. I atone for my errors and forgive others for theirs. I place this situation of apparent lack in His hands and rest in absolute faith that it is miraculously changing even as I speak this word. And of course, you can substitute the word His for her or whatever the divine name that works best for you. And this is faith and fear. I don't even want to read this because of the energy it brings, but I'm going to read it and then say cancel, delete afterwards. Faith and fear. I am a complete failure. I'm too old to get another job. They're only hiring younger people. The economy won't be picking up for years. All the jobs are taken. The system is rigged. I totally screwed up. I was screwed by so-and-so. I'll never get these bills paid. I'll probably lose my house. I give up. It's no use. It's too late. I blew it. Damn the Democrats. Damn the Republicans. Damn the corporations. Damn the unions. Damn the rich. Damn the poor. Cancel, delete. I say that because even when I was saying that is so low, I felt like I had to go down in the valley just to read that. And I'm not there. I live in love at all times. I've figured out how to do it. And whenever I think fear is coming, I go, you don't belong here. Skedaddle. Bye. Because I refuse to allow anybody to live in my head rent-free, even my negative self. You are not living in my head rent-free. You got to go. Thoughts placed in the service of fear deactivate the law of divine compensation. Why? Because they are unloving. They are attack thoughts, and miracles flow only through the auspices. Let me start it again. They are attack thoughts, and miracles flow only through the auspices of loving thoughts. It is love and love alone that gives us the power to transcend the lower thought forms and appearances of the mortal world. Only love of ourselves and others gives us the divine authority to reset the trajectories by which our life unfolds. Love's miracles are being created in every given moment, unobstructed by anything carried over from the past. That is the way the universe operates. Your faith in love doesn't determine love's power, but it does determine whether or not you will experience that power. You can't turn off the light, but you can put your hands in front of your eyes and then complain that the room is dark. The universe is infinitely and eternally lit with the light of love and new possibilities. You can have faith in that and experience miracles. Or you can have faith in the illusion of the mortal world, experiencing lack and scarcity without end. And you may have people that say, I don't care what you say. That's what it is. You don't have no money. And you can say, you don't have no money. You ain't speaking that over my life. I am a fucking millionaire. You do not have to let people tell you what to think or believe. And if they believe it, that's projection. And people can only project onto you what they believe about themselves, and the same as you. When you see somebody, you go, oh, you're so beautiful. That's because you see the beauty in yourself. When you see somebody go, oh, they ugly. That's because you see the ugly in yourself. Beauty is literally in the eyes of the beholder. So if you have beauty, all opulence all through you, you will behold beauty everywhere. Now she's speaking more. I did recoup the $10,000 that I lost so many years ago in Los Angeles. And while I certainly can't say I never made another financial error, I never forgot the lesson my father taught me that night, that I could absorb the loss. Whether through cases where I've made mistakes or whether someone else made a mistake that affected me, I've learned that the product of fear does not permanently stand. Each of us chooses how we will think about what happens in our lives, and to look on a situation with faith and miracles is to look through the eyes with the power of God. I remember a few years ago, there was this Muslim woman in Philly, and her son was murdered by another young black boy on the basketball court because he beat him in basketball. And at the trial, that woman sat there, and she told that young man, I forgive you because Allah permitted this, and I forgive you. And I had my son for the time I had him. But from Allah he came, and to Allah he will return. And I sat there and said, She crazy as shit. I would have been cursing that boy out. You don't kill my son. And then that was years ago. I was like, oh no, something wrong with her. Because how you gonna forgive the person that killed your son? Fuck him. I'm killing his mama. That was me in an egotistical state. Now, of course, I don't want to lose any of my children. I want to die before each of them. I want them to be burying me the way I believe it should be, based upon the age and the way I think things should go. I gave birth to them. They didn't give birth to me, so they are me going into the future. So they should be in the future when I'm in the ground. However, I don't know what could happen. But I'm holding on to the faith that whatever happens, I will return to love. I might be in hate for a little bit, and she might have been in it, and I didn't see that part. But I will return to love, and I will be able to forgive, because ultimately forgiveness is all I have to do to keep myself open for the possibilities of what God has in store for me. If you remember that you are a spiritual being, that God alone is the source of your power, and that the universe is inherently designed to provide for your needs, then you are thinking in a miracle-minded way. You are exercising dominion over the mortal plane by remembering that you are not of it. You will just happen to be you will not of it. You will just happen to be seated next to someone who is looking to hire a person with your skill set. You will just happen to think upon some fabulous new project and effortlessly attain funding. You will just happen to receive a check in the mail from someone who has owed you money for years and never repaid you until now. Mercedes-Benz, I hope you're listening to this. You owe me like $20,000. Run me my money. So the story goes, I bought the first Mercedes R350 in 2006. It was the first year of it. I got the floor model one. It was beautiful. That puppy, my baby girl, was sweet. I called her Betsy Jane. Betsy Jane was beautiful and sweet. And Betsy Jane broke down every other goddamn day. I started calling her the Demon Benz. They would fix it. They were great customer service. But so we were in a financial position where the car was 50 grand. We put down 30 grand. So I had a little small car note and paid that off within a year. So I owned the car. By 2008, I owned that car. So here I am owning the car, because I got it at the end of 2006. Owning the car, not wanting to, have a car note, but every month I'm putting a car note in it because it needs stuff. Then they start having all of these recalls. Then in 2014, the car just says, I'm giving up the ghost. I'm going to the glory. I don't think it's in heaven, though, because the way it treated me. Anywho, cars aren't in heaven. I'm just being funny. Anywho, they had a recall, and I read an article where this lady had written to them talking about all of the things that she went through because of her car, and that she should get some of her money back, and they gave her $20,000. So I said, let me do the same thing, because I've had these issues with this car. One time, it was like I was in Cali, and we had hydraulics. It was going up and down. We would go to Florida every year. That car did not like Florida. Every year, that car would break down either Georgia or Florida. It just did not like going there. So the year that the hydraulics went, and we were like doing like we were with Snoop Dogg in a video, smoking gin and juice. Well, you don't smoke gin and juice. Drinking gin and juice. Laid back with my mind on my money and my money on my mind. The car was doing that, that thing it does. Like they do, the hydraulic thing. They would fix it. They have, like I said a few minutes ago, they have excellent customer service. But anyway, long story short, I wrote them, and they just told me, well, we'll give you $5,000 off your next Mercedes-Benz if you want one. I don't want another Mercedes-Benz. You're a Mercedes-Benz for life, or you can get any Mercedes-Benz you want that at the lowest interest rate. But I ended up not getting a Mercedes. At the time, my mom got a new car, and she gave me her convertible Saab. So yeah, I was sobbing convertible. I was good. Anywho, I said all that to say, because she said right there that, you can get your money back. Maybe they're going to send me my money unexpectedly. Why? Because there is a realm of infinite creativity that exists beyond the mortal mind. Yet within the mind of God, this is not fantasy, but rather the spiritual reality of the universe. If you choose not to believe this, that is your choice. If you choose to believe it, that is your miracle. I choose to believe it. I choose to believe in myself. I told y'all what I do every morning. I get up. I got a list of chooses. I choose to be happy. I choose to be loved. I choose to live in love. I choose to eat properly. I choose to think good thoughts. I choose to walk away from foolishness and fuckery. I'd say that. And I said, I am available today only for my expectations to be exceeded. The universe is programmed to manifest. through you, the highest possibility for your creativity and joy. And that never changes. In God's mind, you are never too old. Let me say that again. In God's mind, you are never too old. In God's mind, you are never inadequate. In God's mind, you are not your resume or your failures. In God's mind, there is no mistake that you are not given the opportunity to correct, nor anything anyone did to you that cannot be compensated for when you forgive and move on. And you know what? You were created in the image and likeness of God, which means the mind that is in God is in you. Jesus says, let this mind that be in Christ Jesus be all, well, Paul said it. Let this mind that be in Christ Jesus be also in you. I'll take it one further because Jesus represents God in the Christian faith. Let the mind of God be in you. You came from God. So that mind that is God's mind, it's just bogged down with the stuff of this world. You can release all of that. Let me say that again. In God's mind, you are never too old. In God's mind, you are never inadequate. In God's mind, you are not your resume or your failures. In God's mind, there is no mistake that you are not given the opportunity to correct, nor anything anyone did to you that cannot be compensated for when you forgive and move on. Nothing about your material circumstances has the power to stop the engine of cosmic intention that you be blessed. And you are blessed eternally, which means moment after moment after moment, in any instant, regardless of what has happened in the past, the universe has arranged and is continuing to arrange infinite possibilities for you to prosper. If you cannot see this now, if despair and anxiety hang like a veil before your eyes, preventing you from mustering any faith in God at all, then in this moment, lean on mine. That's what I mean by your friends. When you feel down, you got to have that friend that lifts you up. I am so blessed. When I say blessed, when I say I got a tribe of women, when I tell you the baddest women, the amazing women, the women that all of the men with any sense want women, they got me and I got them. Man, I'm telling you, I have one bestest of the bestest, but she's like a sister to me. But she lives in Arizona, so I don't see her all the time, but I can call her. She's just the numbers away. And then I got one up there over there at Chicago in Chi-Town. And then I got one right here in old Virginia. And then I got my mama. Women that at any time, and then I got some others too, but those are the core ones that I know. I wouldn't ask them to help me bury a dead body because I wouldn't want to get them in trouble. But if I did, they'd be like, where's the shovel? Let's get this. And my two daughters, let's get this done. But I wouldn't ask them to do that because I wouldn't do that to them. I'd get rid of that body myself. Anywho, what was I at? Okay. One mind joined with another, regardless of their position in time or space, can remove whatever chains would bind us and deliver us to that sweet, sweet realm where things come full circle and there's always a chance to begin again. That is chapter 2 of the Law of Divine Compensation. I hope that you are enjoying it as much as I'm enjoying bringing it to you. And remember, anything that I'm saying that offends you, charge it to my head and not my heart. I never mean to offend anybody, but I'm not you. So the things I say come from my experiences and you're not me. We're never going to understand each other to the level of you going to do it the way I do it, I'm going to do it the way you do it, because we're different people, and that's okay. The goal in life is to live your life in the best way for you and to let other people do the same. And there are times when you all may have some things that you agree on and things you don't agree on, but have always respect, always love and respect, always. That's what it's really about. Thank you so much for your time. Tomorrow we will be delving into chapter 3, Making Love the Bottom Line. This is The Divine Law of Compensation by Marianne Williamson, and I have enjoyed reading this for you, reading this to you, and look forward to tomorrow. If there is a tomorrow, if not, it's been real, and I did the damn thing the best I could. Now it's time to go back and hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. With you, I am pleased.